Hope you like trailers because Marvel is releasing 4 teasers for Avengers Doomsday to be attached to Avatar Fire and Ash, with a new one hitting each week. If that sounds weird, don't worry. We have the deets on what they are and why they're doing this. Marvel Studios' 4 trailers gambit for Doomsday has been rumored for weeks, but The Hollywood Reporter finally confirmed it in its Heat Vision email newsletter on December 12th. The outlet explains, Disney is sending theaters 4 different trailers for the Marvel mega movie. Each will play for 1 week before switching to the next. So if you see Fire and Ash opening weekend, you'll get trailer 1. If you go a week later, you'll get trailer 2, and so on. Marvel had no comment on the rollout.
I know that it's confusing.
Seems pretty likely that Marvel will have to say something sooner rather than later. Sure, plenty of helpful websites and video channels, like this one, will be spreading the news that you'll presumably have to go see Fire and Ash 4 times over the course of a month to catch all the Doomsday trailers. According to early rumors, the first 3 of the 4 trailers will focus on specific characters, while the 4th will serve as the first full teaser of the film as a whole. We won't give away the exact details just yet, but if you want to know what they're rumored to be, keep watching. It's increasingly clear that Marvel isn't taking anything for granted when it comes to promoting this tentpole release. It's going to be Mjolnir to the head repeatedly until the movie comes out in December 2026. You might be thinking to yourself, I don't have to go see an Avatar movie 4 times to watch the Doomsday trailers. They're just gonna put them online like they always do. Well, a lot of the reporting and rumor mongering about the Doomsday teaser suggests they will not. You will have to go to a movie theater, buy a ticket, and watch all of Fire and Ash multiple times. Or just leave after the trailers. They don't care as long as they get your money. THR notes that the innovative trailer release method is aimed at getting diehards to see Avatar Fire and Ash multiple times. And Daniel Richtman, aka Daniel RPK, a reliable leaker of Marvel rumors, said outright that the first teaser won't be online the first week of Fire and Ash's release, or the next. Forbes also notes that the plan is to only release the trailers theatrically.
We come to this place for magic.
This seems oddly old-fashioned, but that's the whole idea. Marvel and Disney are looking to achieve a few things with this unique rollout: boost an otherwise unrelated big-budget movie, build back diminished excitement for the MCU, and change fans' movie-going habits back to what they were in the 2010s. Okay, let's talk about what's supposedly in these trailers, the things we've seen and the things we've heard about. Turn back now if you want to be surprised. The first one, which got leaked online before Fire and Ash even hit theaters, confirms something that people have been speculating about for months. Chris Evans is back as Steve Rogers, and he's almost assuredly going to be donning the Star and Stripes again as Captain America. He rides up on a motorcycle to his house and walks inside, where he sees Peggy and his baby son. The trailer then announces that Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday, followed by a countdown clock, apparently to the movie's release date. The second trailer focuses on Chris Hemsworth's Thor. Early dispatches say in that one, he prays to Odin for the strength to make it through the coming battle, to see his daughter Love, the girl he adopted at the end of Love and Thunder.
I love you, sweetie.
Love you, Uncle Thor.
The third is said to focus on Doctor Doom. Details are fuzzier on that one, but between the first 2 teasers and the mid-credits scene of Fantastic Four First Steps, he seems pretty intent on abducting superheroes' kids. And then the 4th, as we mentioned, will be a full trailer for the movie. Avengers Endgame was in every way a maximalist movie, but the promotional campaign for it was kind of surprisingly understated in hindsight. Quite a few of the posters didn't even include the title. They simply read Avenge the Fallen and had a photo of one of the actors from the movie along with the Marvel Studios logo. Big chunks of the trailers didn't even show footage from Endgame, but of previous Marvel films, teasing the time heist element. At one point, the Russo brothers tweeted a seemingly innocuous set photo that generated wild speculation. The overall message of the campaign then was, hey, we know you're gonna see this. The work had been done. Avengers Infinity War, itself the 7th highest grossing film of all time, was already the carrot summoning huge audiences to theaters to watch how its cliffhanger got resolved.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go, sir. Please. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
The Doomsday campaign is largely not that, though the Russos have gone back to posting some mysterious photos. Marvel knows it has to win audiences back, because ever since Endgame, it's been a bumpy road. It's been observed many times. Endgame was huge, but it was also a jumping-off point. It was the perfect place for fans who had watched the 21 previous movies over the previous 11 years to say, hey, cool ending, that's enough.
I'm good. Thanks.
What came after didn't help. The films of Phase 4 of the MCU feel pretty directionless, focusing on multiverse stuff the audience didn't really seem to care about. On top of that, Marvel was asking fans to consume even more content. There were 4 MCU movies in 2021. Shang-Chi and Eternals came out 2 months apart. Add to that the ever-growing list of Disney Plus shows that you seemingly had to watch to understand what was happening in the movies. There were 5 of those in 2021, and suddenly being a Marvel fan felt like homework. And then there were the unfortunate circumstances surrounding Jonathan Majors. Phase 5 finally found a foothold building up the new big bad, Kang. But then Majors, who played Kang, got arrested on domestic assault charges and was fired. Marvel ultimately scrapped all the Kang stuff and went back to the drawing board, which frankly was maybe for the best. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was pretty bad. The ultimate result was a brand that wasn't ice cold, but undoubtedly lukewarm, with fans cherry-picking the stuff they thought looked fun and was worth watching, while skipping the rest. No wonder Marvel is promoting Doomsday as a direct sequel to Endgame, despite lots of characters from later movies appearing. Disney's hoping to bump up the Avatar numbers by putting some you-can-only-see-it-here treats at the top, but the marketing campaign for Avengers Doomsday itself isn't like anything Marvel has attempted before. The unorthodox nature of the big Doomsday push has been apparent for months now, and it started with a very long video of a bunch of chairs. The first casting news for Doomsday came in pretty typical Marvel fashion. Robert Downey Jr., returning to the franchise in his new role of Dr. Doom, hit the stage at Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con in July 2024. He stood amongst a bunch of other guys in Doom costumes and whipped off his mask to reveal that he was back and bad.
New mask. Same task.
But then in March 2025, Marvel did something truly weird. A live stream that lasted a whopping 5.5 hours that lingered on the backs of 26 empty director chairs, revealing their returning actors. There were plenty of usual suspects: Chris Hemsworth, Anthony Mackie, the Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four First Steps main casts. And some big surprises, like a whole bunch of the Fox-era X-Men actors. Yes, 86-year-old Ian McKellen is finally in an Avengers movie. It capped off with an actual person getting into the 27th chair, Downey, who turned to the camera and made a shush gesture. It's debatable whether the avant-garde chair video was effective. Fans talked about it for sure. If nothing else, it was an early sign that Marvel is throwing out the big movie promotion rulebook for this one. The post-Endgame difficulties getting people to go see movies in theaters aren't specific to just Marvel, of course. The COVID-19 pandemic changed everything. We didn't mention the MCU movies that got released in 2020 because there weren't any. Very few theatrical releases of any kind came out between spring 2020 and the summer of 2021, and that, of course, altered people's habits. Movie fans got used to staying at home and streaming the films they wanted to see. With little other recourse, movie studios encouraged that behavior, releasing all kinds of films intended for theatrical release direct to streaming services. So while Black Widow, the first COVID-era MCU release in July 2021, broke box office records for the pandemic, its take was way below the film that preceded it, 2019's Spider-Man: Far From Home. Most fans just watched it at home on Disney+. Those new patterns of consumption have stuck to a degree. Yes, box office numbers have ticked back up as people have gotten used to going back out into the world, but they're still nowhere near what they were. According to Statista, the total box office gross in North America was $11.2 billion in 2019. It was $8.6 billion in 2024. That's a 23% decrease, not even accounting for inflation. It's gonna take something drastic to get people who have become very comfortable just watching movies at home on their 4K TVs back into theaters. That's clearly what Marvel is trying with these Doomsday trailers. In terms of how people consume media, 2009 might as well have been a century ago. Streaming was only in its infancy. Much of Netflix's business was still direct mail DVD rentals. So the first Avatar became the biggest movie in history, making most of its nearly $3 billion in total box office revenue, in a wildly different environment than the one we live in now. When the sequel, Avatar: The Way of Water, came out 13 years later, whether it could reach the heights of its predecessor was an open question. Thankfully for Disney, the movie ended ended up doing quite well for itself. According to Box Office Mojo, it's the third highest grossing movie of all time, after the first Avatar and Avengers Endgame. It currently sits at around $600 million below the first film's total take. So why does Disney seem so intent on boosting Fire and Ash's numbers by getting people to buy a ticket to see the Doomsday trailers? Well, this detail might be important. For both Avatar movies so far, well over 2/3 of the worldwide box office take came from markets outside the United States. There's reason to believe that international markets, particularly China, are far less interested in Hollywood fare in late 2025. Bloomberg notes that American film's share of the global box office has fallen from 92% to 66% since around 2005. So getting a larger audience packed in to see Fire and Ash is clearly a priority, however it happens.
You have to do this, if not for yourself, then for the movie-going public and for the foreign markets that are more important than ever nowadays.
Marvel and Disney are taking a big swing with this trailer rollout a full year before Doomsday even comes out, and it's not clear if the payoff will match the level of ambition. Like we said, bootlegs and screenshots are already out there. It seems almost futile for even Disney's formidable legal team to keep the stuff totally offline. Forbes is totally unconvinced, writing, "Whatever plan they have to sell extra tickets via 1-minute Doomsday teasers does not seem worth it, given the bootlegs. But there's also reason to believe the bootlegs are all part of the plan. You can watch a grainy version on Reddit in the hours before it eventually gets nuked by Disney Legal. Or you can just buy a ticket to Avatar Fire and Ash and see the return of Steve Rogers the only place you can, for now in glorious 4K or IMAX with Dolby surround sound." Marvel is definitely banking that people will part with their dollars and do the latter. As a wise sports commentator once said back when people saw movies in theaters,
"It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them."